Okay, we are live now. Welcome to this third day. Yeah, today is the third day. We started on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Today is the third day for the Elevated Men Conference 2023. Yeah, network have started acting up. It has been an auction moment. Every of our speakers have been auctioned, and today I promise you, is going to be a blast. Uh, with me right here on the stage, the person you can see, her name is Boss Day. She's a sex therapist and a human biologist. So, whatever she's going to be telling you today, she's well grounded in it. And she's going to be talking about, you see, you're going to be asking yourself, what is the correlation between a man's sexual life and his self esteem? Oh, don't worry, just hang in there. She's going to link everything together. You will understand why some men use sex enhancement drugs just to boost their sex drive. And don't worry, just hang on. So, boss, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Prince Alex. Good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are watching us from. So good to have you around. Today, we want to talk about men's sexuality and how it affects their self-esteem. Men's sexuality and self-esteem. I would love to start by saying that a man is a sexual being, and is the reaction of a man to sex is always spontaneous. What we mean by spontaneous is that for a man, sex is just something that is inbuilt. It doesn't have to have a woman around or be in a place where women are for him to be excited. Sex is inbuilt in a man in such a way that the psychogenic erection can just come by mere looking at a woman, or even when man wakes up early in the morning, has his full erection. That is his nature as a man. So whether a man is with a woman or not, a man is a sexual being, and his reaction to sex is spontaneous, just like I've said. And what do we mean by self-esteem? Self-esteem is just an individual subjective evaluation of himself. That is, when you're talking about your self-esteem, you're talking about the way you see yourself as a person, what you feel about yourself, what you think about yourself. So now we are going to look at how the sexuality of a man is connected to his self-esteem. Or for a man to have a high self-esteem or low self-esteem, what relationship does that have to do with his sexual nature as a man? Is it that as a man, if a man is having a poor sexuality, does it mean he's going to have a low self-esteem, or vice versa? We are going to look at that in this lecture. Yes, and I want to say that the brain of a man has different compartments. We have three compartments of brain. We have the forebrain, the hindbrain, and the midbrain. The part of the brain that connects, or the sex hormone are being secreted from is called the hypothalamus part of the brain. For example, oxytocin is a sex hormone that is secreted from the hypothalamus part of the brain. Meanwhile, man being a sexual being, it also means that for a man to be able to feel happy and have a high self-esteem, he must have a good sex life. Sex has been seen to be the sweetest experience that a man can ever experience in his life. There is no merriment or party or anywhere you go as a man, or anything you subject yourself to as a man, that the pleasure you will get therein can be compared to that of sex. Why is it that sex is the sweetest? Because the hormones that control sex are known as feel-good and happiness hormone. You talk about oxytocin, dopamine, endorphin, androgen, testosterone. Those are the hormones that controls sex, or a hormone that a man secretes and releases anytime he has sex. Therefore, once a man is happy, or a man is in a state whereby he wants to feel himself, he wants to know, he wants to be able to understand that he is still in the right and good standing. His sexual nature is part of what he can use to be sure of himself, to have a high self-esteem as a man. Sex is the sweetest experience. It is the greatest experience that a man can have as far as physical nature is concerned. And this is the reason why the scriptures, religious belief, we believe that once you are not married, you should not involve in sex, because of the way sex combine your physical, your mental, and your psychological nature together. So sex hormone are feel good and happiness hormone, as I've said, and for a man it is the sweetest experience, because throughout studies there is no other hormone that is called happiness or feel good hormone apart from the sex hormone. And for you to be able to secrete all this oxytocin, dopamine, etc., you must have experienced sex. So for you to be able to have all those things and for you to have the experience, so that is what we are saying. And now we are saying that for a man to have a high self-esteem, his sexual nature must be it must be positive. He must have a kind of sex life that makes him to exhibit himself anytime or anywhere. For example, once a man is either maybe is impotent, or he is having a partial or complete inability to do sex, or he has the ability but he is being deprived, such man is aggressive, because the hypothalamus part of the brain that controls the release of other sex hormone that's supposed to be feel good and happiness hormone, the part of the brain is getting a negative feedback. Once a negative feedback is sent to the brain, the man feels low of himself. He has a low self-esteem. Now, for synergy to come between the brain and the mind, the brain must have a positive signal. For example, a man is aroused, is sexually aroused. A man who is married, for instance, definitely he has the right to sex. And maybe the man is being deprived. Such man is aggressive, because the negative feedback is being sent back to his brain. The hormones that are supposed to make him happy, make him feel good, etc., is now sending a negative signal back to the hypothalamus part of the brain. That is the part that controls pain and relief. That means there is no synergy. The brain is happy, but the mind is sad. Such man has a low self-esteem. He feels bad for himself. He will not have the sense of belonging and so on, because of the fact that he has been deprived. And the cerebral cortex, that is the cerebrum, that is the part of the brain that also controls intelligence. All those parts they play a vital role in a man secreting his sex hormone. So once all those hormones are being secreted in the body of a man, they must be released. Is either they are released through sex or through wet dream. For men who are the mid-age, maybe they are just in their early 20s, they are not yet married, those ones can experience wet dream. When the semen bag is filled up, nature has a way of expelling some of it out. That is wet dream. When all those young men, when they get to the age of puberty, they experience wet dream. Now, the scientific importance of that is that once all those hormones, when they are secreted, they must be released. Is it that through sex or through the natural way, which is wet dream? So for a man now, his self-esteem is directly connected to his sexuality. Once a man is being deprived, you see the man, he has low self-esteem. That is when you see them fighting physically. That is when you see them, they are going mad. Because the cerebral cortex, that is the central, the cerebrum that controls intelligence, that will have told him that this thing you're doing is wrong. It is still that same side of the brain that is controlling the release of all those hormones. So once a man is deprived, he misbehaves. That's why you see a grown-up man behaving uncomely. You wonder, can't he think? How can he descend so low? He has done that because the part of the brain that controls intelligence, that will have made him to correct himself, that will have made him, that will have told him that this thing you want to do is wrong. It is that same part that the sex hormone is being secreted from. So it takes an extraordinary man to be able to overcome. That's when you see them being aggressive. And another thing, look at those ones who are impotent, or those ones who are not even sure of themselves. They don't have the capacity, or when a woman is talking down on them concerning their sexual nature, you see them, they are aggressive. That's when you see some of them running their mouths, telling a woman that if they handle her, she will know that something has touched her, etc. Meanwhile, in their heart of hearts, they know they are not capable. So they resort in another way just for them to get this self-esteem, just for them to be sure that, they are strong, they are original. So that is what is happening in the brain of a man. So, and I'm saying that it determines a man's behavior and action and inaction. Yes, their stability psychologically and even their self-esteem. So men's sexuality is the way a man, the nature of a man, the sexual nature of a man, just like we have said. And we are saying the sexual climax is the greatest and the sweetest experience of pleasure on earth for men. So it is always good to 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 express it's always good for a man to be able to have a positive way of expressing himself sexually. So once a man is being deprived, he has a low self-esteem. He feels less of himself. He lost a sense of belonging. He sees himself as if, it doesn't even exist. That for him not to exist is even better because the brain is sending a negative signal, just like we have said. Now, I said because the way it connects the mental, the psychological, and the physical being of whoever you have it with. So once a man is able to establish the fact that he is sexually strong, he is fit, all other aspects of his life, such man will be balanced. For example, we talked about the early morning sex. We said around 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, that is when men go through rapid high movement. That is when they are at all their sex hormone is at the peak of secretion. Their androgen, their testosterone, immunoglobulin A, all those chemicals are at the peak of their secretion. That is when they experience their third stage of erection. Because research made us to know that a man can sleep, he will have erection, he doesn't know, he's not aware. But for him to be able to start to be conscious of his erection around that 4 to 6 a.m., that is when he feels like, he wants to exhibit himself, he needs a woman. If such man is deprived at that particular time, early morning, you have spoiled that day for that man. It is that early morning sex that will prepare him physically, psychologically, and even mentally for the day. If he's a man that works in office, definitely his mind will be together. Because for that day, the day had already been prepared for him. His self-esteem is going to be on the high side because of the fact that he is able to exhibit his sexual nature, especially early in the morning when the sex hormone is at the peak of secretion. Compared to a man who is deprived the early morning coitus, the early morning sex, that day is already spoiled because the man will not be psychologically stable. Because the brain is sending a negative feedback. It's not as if the man is a demon or is not spiritual. No, the nature of a man is made this way. And once a man is deprived or is impotent or is having partial impotency, etc., such man has a low self-esteem. Because for you we said self-esteem is individual subjective evaluation of himself. For you to evaluate yourself and see that, I'm good, I'm fine. Definitely, all aspects of your life must have been balanced as a person. Now, for the man, any man who is having deprivation in his sexual life, who is not sexually satisfied, such man has a low self-esteem. That's when you see them, they are looking around, they want to be sure, is it that this woman is the one talking me down or I'm not that capable enough? They want to be sure. That's why you see some of them experimenting themselves all around, because they want to be sure. So because their self-esteem is at stake once their sexual nature is not balanced. So now I said, whatever achievement a man might get in life, it channels him towards attaining this sexual pleasure. That's why we are saying that once a man experience any success, maybe in his business, in his life, in his anything he lays his hand on, once he's happy, it channels him towards expressing himself sexually. Maybe a man just won a contract worth billions of naira or millions of naira. He gets home, he's happy. He wants to have intercourse, wants to have sex with his wife because that is the peak of his happiness. So any achievement a man has in life channels him towards having sexual satisfaction because the self-esteem is directly connected to his sexuality as a man. There is no success that a man can attain in life. If the man is impotent, he sees himself as if he doesn't even exist. Because there is a part of the brain that will make him to think well of himself, to see himself as a complete man. That part is sealed for an impotent man. But for a man who is potent, but he is being deprived, such man sees himself as if he doesn't has nothing. So at this point, I will urge our women to understand this, and for them to be able to at least help those men to have high self-esteem, because this is what is happening in their brain. Once you're saying no or you are talking him down, you're sending a negative signal to his brain. That's why a lot of men, they resort into beating. They don't know what to do. They are just frustrated. And so we wake up, we start saying, what is wrong with this man? Why will he be beating his wife? He is crazy. Because his brain, the cerebral cortex, the cerebrum that will have told him this is wrong, don't do it, that cerebrum is turned, it is turned upside down at that particular time because of the hormones that are raging. He cannot help it as a man. He wants his self-esteem to be on the high side. And this sex that will have made him to balance up with the brain, his mind, his psychology, his hormones, his body, he has been deprived. It's as good as the whole being of that man he has been brought down. So that is what we are saying. So now I say the hypothalamus secretes oxytocin that controls pains and relief. That's why we are saying that once someone is having a pain, maybe in the heart or a physical wound or cut, sex can relieve your pain because of dopamine that you release as a man. So this is what we are saying. And the man feels bad if he can't release all these hormones because it is connected with the brain, just like I've said. So a man's mind is needed. If the man is absent-minded, you see, whatever you yield your mind to obey, you become servant of. We are not saying there are no men that cannot wait until they are married or they are into a union, because the mind is also connected. The fact that a man is secreting all this sex hormone does not mean compulsorily you should exhibit it for those who are not yet married, for those who are not yet in union, or no woman is consenting to have intercourse with them. They can wait by taking their mind off it. But if a man's mind is here, he's married already, he has the right to you as a woman. A man who is having the right to a woman that is deprived, we have low self-esteem, that a man who does not have the right to a woman. For example, you are a guy, you're not yet married. If anybody deprives you, you just look away. But for a married man who has the right, who has paid the dowry of the woman, the man can run mad, he can go crazy. Because the woman that is having the right to is the one depriving him. He feels low of himself. He has a low self-esteem. That's why you see many of them, they want to go extra mile to please a woman. They want to be sure that their self-esteem is intact. And so once they are deprived here, they go elsewhere. It doesn't make them a demon. That is just the nature. So now we are saying that for those who don't have the right to it, all these hormones can be suppressed. For example, when you don't have access to a woman, you can just take your mind off it. That is the only thing a man can do. You cannot escape nature as a man. A man cannot escape nature. Nature will surely come. You will definitely secrete this hormone, especially right from the age of puberty, adolescence. The man starts secreting all the sex hormone, and for him to be able to release them, you must either have sexual intercourse or it comes out through wet dream, just like we have said before. So we are saying that his hormone can either it can be relieved by sex, just like we are saying. Now we are saying sex hormones are directly connected to the man's brain. So his sexual nature plays a vital role in his mental health and stability. His sexual nature plays a vital role. That's why you see men, if they can't have it here, they go elsewhere, because they don't want their body to be damaged. A lot of them only have all this reaction within their self. They don't even know what is wrong. They cannot help it. That is the nature. That is how God has made him. That is how God has made him. In fact, research revealed to us that if a man is having a woman around and that woman is depriving him, such man can have a swollen scrotum. That his scrotum will start it will just swell up. The man is at the risk of prostate cancer. He has a lot of headache because by the time the sperm moves from the epididymis, that is the smallest site of sperm, it moves through the seminal vesicles, through the vas deferens, before it comes out through the urethra. So the man is excited already. The moment a man sights a woman or is sexually excited, what is happening in his body is that the brain has sent a signal to all parts of the body. Therefore, blood will rush to the sex organ and he has his erection. That is the erection that we are looking at. The brain has sent a signal to the hypothalamus part of the brain to release this hormone because the body believes that the man is ready to have sex. Therefore, the brain's rush blood, the blood will pump into the sex organ and the veins, the nerves, every part of his body, and his erection will stand. For such man, if such a man is deprived, for this sperm cell to make a reverse movement back to the epididymis, that is the storage site, it will give the man stomach ache, all this stomach upset, headache. It will increase his temperature. It might disrupt his mental stability. And if this is happening to him on regular basis, that man stands the risk of prostate cancer. For a man who is having a woman around, so constant deprivation can damage the sexual nature and sexual nerves of a man. But a man who is not having a woman around, such man will not have much problem because a woman is not coming around. Normally, you have your early morning erection, you wake up, you take your bath, you go to work. Your mind is not there. Your mind is not connected. But for a man who is having a woman around and he is experiencing constant deprivation, such man is not stable. Such man will have a low self-esteem. He's not even sure of himself. He's as good as someone who has not eaten for 3 days. He's not even sure of himself lifting any load because inside of him, he is weak. So those are the ways that a man's sexuality is connected to his self-esteem. So we are saying that the belief of an individual about him or herself is the way the person feels about himself, either positively or negatively. So once a man is having problem with his sexual life, he is as good as he has failed in all other aspects of life. That's why when you see them, they make sure that at least they have a woman who is always speaking positive words to them. Apart from the sexual nature of a man, any words that a woman speaks that brings down the self-esteem of that man damage his sexual nature. When a woman is depriving a man, when a woman is saying words that will bring down his personality, such a man feels low of himself. He has low self-esteem. That's why you see men, they always stay with those women that respect them, those women that speak good words to them, that make them feel as a man. Those are the women they stay with. They don't stay with those ones that are very insulting, because the way the psychology of a man works, those words are ringing inside his brain. And so it's making him feel low of himself. And a man does not want that. Every man, inside every man, there is a king that wants to reign. So that is it. Now, the self-esteem determines how far a man will go in life, or successful, or how successful he's going to be. So once a man is happy already, he knows that he's not being deprived, all his hormones are at peace, the brain is correct, the nerves is correct, the sexual organ, everything is correct. He is happy. When you see him, even at work, you see that he's effective. But a man who is broken down, who is having a low self-esteem, is having a poor sex drive, or is being deprived at home, you will see that such man is not stable. So for a man to have high self-esteem, his brain must be correct with his mind. And any man who lost his mind is not mentally stable. Because we are saying there must be synergy. If the brain is smiling, the brain is releasing happiness and feel-good hormone. The mind is also happy because the woman is coming around, which is giving a positive response. Such man is mentally stable because there is synergy between the brain and the mind. Because your mind is, even if anyone is insulting you, but your mind is saying you are doing well, the insult is trashed off. Because your mind is correct with yourself. That is your self-esteem, your evaluation of yourself. But in a situation when you are having a negative feedback, the woman is saying, who are you? Get away. The one you did yesterday is nowhere to be found. You are this, you are that. All those insultive things. The man feel low of himself. Such man will not, because the negative signal that is sent back to the brain, the man is thinking that this woman is, I don't want to see her around me. That is what the brain is saying. The brain controls all the activities of the body. So for the man to be balanced now, the mind and the brain there must be synergy. That is what we are saying. So we are saying sex hormone are secreted from the cerebral cortex, the hypothalamus, the central nervous system, and the limbic system. All these are essential parts of a man's reasoning and intelligence. That's what will make the man to reason. That's why when you see a man is buying car for his girlfriend, you marvel. All these girlfriends, they don't do charm. They just get the formula. Your own formula that you are doing sex in this Sunday afternoon, Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, you don't fix sex in afternoon. That one can be used as top up. But that early morning and late evening, that is the sex that can help you to put your memory in the brain of a man. Because the early morning sex is at that very early morning, all the sex hormone are at the peak of their secretion. The man is experiencing REM, that is rapid eye movement. That is when he's at the third realm of sleep. That is when the third stage of erection, the body is conscious that he is having erection. Once a man is deprived for that early morning, that day is gone. But those ones that will allow him early in the morning, those are the ones that the memory will be kept in the brain. Forget about the fact that we understand the fact that the nature of a man, he can desire another woman, maybe later. But the memory of you that you're allowing him early in the morning, he cannot erase it from his brain. So those girls outside, they don't go to Babalawo or to go and do charm. They just understand this formula. That early morning and late evening, afternoon sex is not bad. It can be used as maybe top up or whatever. But that early morning, make sure you target it as a woman. Because the brain, look at the central nervous system, the limbic system, the hypothalamus. Those are the parts of the brain that plays a very vital role in a man's reasoning and intelligence. So once you are able to put your memory in him that day, you have given him a high self-esteem. He will not forget you. See, all this thing is just, it is physical, it is scientific. It's just, there is no mystery anywhere. There is only ignorance. So we are saying that sex is connected to the mental health, and that is why we say it has a direct impact on the self-esteem of a man. So that is the connection. So we are saying poor sex is equal to low self-esteem. When a man is poor, maybe he's having impotency or anything that is damaging his sexual life. Maybe insultive words, a woman is depriving him, or he himself is not strong enough, is not capable. He has a low self-esteem. He believes a woman can conquer him. There is no man that wants to be seen as a small boy or wants to be seen as a weak person. Every man wants to be seen as a strong man. So once this part of his life has been damaged, it results to low self-esteem for him. So, and it affects him negatively. So we are saying that for a man to have a negative, when you are giving a negative feedback to the brain of a man, it gives him a poor and a low self-esteem. Now we are saying the environment, the response, and the reaction of the woman plays a very vital role in the sexual nature and self-esteem of a man. If negative feedback is sent into the brain reacts, and the man has inferiority complex, low self-esteem, feeling of rejection, etc. That's why, as I've said, a man stays where he has a self-esteem. Anywhere there is peace of mind and he is seen as a king, that is where he will stay, because that is the way his brain works. So I said feel-good hormones requires a positive reaction and signal back to the brain. That is what feel-good hormone are. It's just like when you have a pain, maybe someone has a cut on his hand. The pain will be felt on that hand, but the part of the brain, the hypothalamus, is what is interpreting the pain. No one can be beaten and he will feel the pain and start laughing. No, because your brain is interpreting pain. Maybe someone is just beaten with a very big cane. The pain is felt on the hand because the brain is interpreting pain. That is what is happening at that time. Compared to when the brain is interpreting happiness, feel good, but the environment is sending back a negative signal back to the brain. That is feeling of inferiority complex. It results in rejection. Such a man, even if he is called back, he feels bad because he remember the way you made him feel the other time. A man does not want anybody to bring him down or to run him down sexually, because it affects their self-esteem a lot. Yes, it damages their self-esteem. So I said that's why men misbehave when they are deprived, because the brain is not settled. The brain is now working against the mind. That can even kill someone or run someone mad. It can run someone mad because the brain controls every activities of the body. Women must be informed, and that their choice of words is very important. Your choice of words as a woman is very important. Now, let us look at the health benefits of sex to man, because a lot of women say, is it food? You did one yesterday. It's not food. You understand? So I'm saying today that sex is even more than food to a man. It's more than food, because it has it has a lot of health benefits for a man. Now, let us look at the health benefits of sex for a man. Constant release of hormones, of sex hormone, like oxytocin, dopamine, endorphin, etc. The constant release of this hormone for a man improves his cardiovascular health. Excuse me, please. It improves his cardiovascular health. When we talk about cardiovascular health, cardiovascular is talking about the heart of a man. It helps the heart to be renewed, to be repackaged, to be refreshed and reformed. We all know that heart is the organ that pumps blood to every part of the body. The heart pumps blood to every part of the body. So a man who is having a constant release of all the sex hormone, the heart will work so well. The heart pumps blood at a very regular rate. The heart of that man is refreshed. He will not be at the risk of heart attack. He will not be at the risk of all this cardiac arrest, cardiovascular issue. No, because the heart is working so well, so perfectly. And many of those men, instead of them to have heart attack, that's why you see some of them having affairs. You understand? Because no man wants to be deprived. Then it also improves a man's intelligence. It improves the intelligence of a man because of the release of all those hormones. When they are successfully released, they make the brain of a man to be refreshed, to be repackaged and reformed. And at that particular time, there is nothing you talk or you say to a man that he will not listen to you, because his brain is at peace, his mind is at peace, he's happy. Then sex also, it helps the gastrointestinal tract, because the hormones are probiotic. Gastrointestinal tract is the tract that digests food. It helps a man to digest his food. It gives a man a good dietary, because all these hormones we are talking about, they are probiotic. That is, they are help in dietary. So people that used to have constipation, a lot of people, they will say 3-4 days they have not been to toilet. When they have good sex, it aids their digestion. It helps them to empty their bowels. Some men, when they do sex, they can fast. Some will go to the toilet. Some will hiss themselves, because the hormone they just released is probiotic in nature. It helps in dietary. You understand? So sex also reduces blood pressure for the man because of the release of prolactin. Prolactin is a relaxation hormone that helps a man's nerves to relax. So the man sleeps. He sleeps like a baby because he just released prolactin. Dopamine also plays a vital role in relief. You know how this hormone, they are collectively called feel good and happiness hormone, but each of them has function. Prolactin is a relaxation hormone. Dopamine relieves pain. So when a man do sex, he's relieved. All this anger, all this aggressiveness, everything goes down because it just released prolactin, which is an hormone that induces rest. Then it also boosts a man's immune system. The immune system is the system that helps the body to fight disease because of the release of immunoglobulin A, IgA. That immunoglobulin A is a chemical that boosts immune system. So any man that is having access to sex every time, that man will not be falling sick every day. He will not be buying headache drug, be going to chemist, go and be buying sleeping pills. No, he will sleep naturally because of immunoglobulin A that he is released through ejaculation. So I said men that ejaculate severally have more IgA in their body system. I mean immunoglobulin A. Then it is an antibody that fights disease. We have explained that. Sex also reduces prostate cancer. It reduces prostate cancer because frequent release of oxytocin, dopamine, endorphin in the body, the frequent release of those hormones, it will not make a man to be at the risk of prostate cancer. Research says that man that can ejaculate 21 times a month have low risk of prostate cancer. It is confirmed. You can ask any medical practitioner or any scientist who study human reproduction, sexuality and reproductive health. Research revealed that those who ejaculate 21 times a month are not at the risk of prostate cancer. After 10 years, the research was still conducted again. The same cycle of research was gotten. So once a man is deprived, that man stands the risk of prostate cancer, whereby he will have swollen scrotum. The scrotum will be swollen. So that is it. Then sex also creates bonding and affection because of the release of oxytocin and pheromone. Oxytocin is a hormone that makes you bond. If you want to bond, you want your man to be bond, you want you and your man to bond, be having regular sex with him, you will bond. One of the issues we have is that they said we are having sex the wrong time. Some women, especially religious women, they are the one that are guilty of this. They don't target the correct time. All this afternoon, Monday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, you have to target that early morning. The memory that we put in the brain of a man, if you sleep with him early in the morning, you can't put that memory in his brain in the afternoon. Especially the religious women. So we are saying that it creates bonding, it makes you bond. All this, my husband does not even know whether I sleep or not. He doesn't even ask of me. You don't do enough sex. We understand the fact that a man can have alternative, or our Muslim friends, they have multiple wife beds. Every woman has his own place in the heart of that man. How can you say your husband does not care whether you call him or not? You are not doing sex. Oxytocin is not your mate. If you do sex with a man, his mind will be with you, especially the one that loves you. Don't go and think you can use sex to tie a man down if there is no love. But a man that is married to you, he has paid your dowry. Sex is a weapon for you to bond to your man. You bond because when you do sex, you release oxytocin and makes you to bond. Then it also induces sleep because of prolactin. It makes your man to sleep. Serotonin also, it feels like a baby because serotonin is a chemical in the body system. When a man has a very ample time in sex, it releases hormone that boosts his serotonin. The serotonin is a neurotransmitter. So sex also does this. It makes the man to relax. Yes. It also reduces mental and physical challenges. It reduces mental challenges. Look at when we were explaining self-esteem and sexual nature, look at the reaction we said that is happening in the brain of a man. If there is no synergy, you are sending a negative signal. But if it is positive signal, he wants you and you let him have you. That man has a stable mental health. His mental health is stable. No anxiety, no bipolar disorder, no dementia, no depression at all. Because the release of all this hormone will not make a man to have depression. It reduces stress and anxiety because you are giving a positive response and feedback to the brain. So we also said it reduces mental and physical challenges. We are not saying those who are mentally derailed, they don't do sex, but sex as a means of helping the brain of a man. Imagine a man being deprived every day. If that man does not go and find alternative, that man will soon run mad. He will soon start misbehaving, because you are touching, you are fingering his brain, you are putting your finger in his cerebrum, the cerebral cortex that controls intelligence. That is where your response is sounding. That man will just have mental problem. You'll be asking him of what is he going to eat. He'll be telling you who will be the next president of Nigeria, because the response will be giving you will be to contradict the answer, the question you are asking him, because it's not mentally stable. So that is what we are saying. We are saying that the positive response and feedback to the brain will bring about a synergy. So good sex prepares a man psychologically for the day, especially the early morning one. So this is all we have to say this afternoon concerning men's sexuality
Hmm.
and their self-esteem. Thank you so much for listening.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Honestly, that was a very, very beautiful and awesome presentation. Honestly, I was just at the back stage taking notes, taking all the notes, which I'm going to transfer to my diary later. Honestly, thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
so
your
much.
deep insight.
Thank
Before
you
I
so
let you
much.
go, I quickly, because you talked about uh, two things: prostate cancer, and he says sex is an instrument of bonding between
Yeah.
a man and his wife. And also prostate cancer, any man that actually have sex, particularly that time you make mention of, reduces the high risk of him becoming a victim of prostate cancer. Because I think in the evening today, somebody is going to be talking about because there are some times when men begin to have this midlife sexual crisis. There's a certain level you get to. Yeah, when we're 20, there's a way we perform. When we now enter 30, 40,
Mm,
45, 50, then it's like a lot of diminished return begin to lose that.
mm,
So that person, somebody will be talking about that in the evening anyway. But
okay.
what I want
Yeah.
to ask you is the issue of the prostate cancer, because right now what is killing most men is prostate cancer.
Mm,
Most men, if you hear a man dies, just find out what happened: prostate cancer. You talk about the connection between sex and the prevention of prostate cancer. Can you elaborate more on that so that
okay. Thank you so much. Prostate gland is part of the reproductive system of a man, and that is where I talked about the epididymis, the storage site of sperm. So the prostate
mm,
cancer is a place where sperm is being secreted. The milky fluid and the other nutrients that will be added to sperm at the time of ejaculation, that ejaculation substance is called semen. Inside semen is where we find sperm. Now, the prostate gland is where the sperm cell is stored. So once a man is sexually deprived, that site will have more of other semen inside. It's just like when a balloon is filled up, instead of the container to expel the component, the thing is inside, is not coming out. For a man who is already used to sex, who is already having access to a woman, is married probably, the body is used to it. He can't rely on wet dream like all those boys in puberty age. He just needs the sex. The body has recorded the fact that this sex is what we need. The hormones, the body system is has recorded it that way. So once a man is not having the regular sex, the prostate becomes swollen. Yoruba will say ẹpọ̀n rẹ̀ máa wú, the prostate will be swollen. So as it is swollen, it breaks down, it causes pain. Before you know it, the man will start
mm,
having pain, and he will be diagnosed of prostate cancer, because
prostate cancer?
there is no constant release of all those things. Because when we talk about sex
Hmm.
prevents prostate cancer for a man, the explanation is that constant release of all those sex hormone will not make the man to be at the risk of prostate cancer. So if there is no constant release, that is what will put this man at the risk of prostate cancer. And some men, when they are deprived, They will not think of alternative. They just accept their fate. And every day the body is secreting sperm for
Mm.
you to release by doing sex. So that is just the mechanism behind it. Just like you're having a remnant, you're having a store hub of sperm. Store hub of sperm that's supposed to come out to be released, but it is being stored up. And we have different body system. Some men, their body system cannot continue to store up sperm for a long period of time. They can be diagnosed of prostate cancer.
Wow, 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 wow. Honestly, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this
Thank you so
very
much.
enlightening information. If you're a woman out there, either you've joined us through this live program or you're going to watch this video later, take note of those things. You see, when a man is down, people that actually suffer the more are the women. They are the one follow this man up and down. These are the things that we can prevent if only there's a deep communication. Prostate cancers are not is something that is preventable, like what you have stated, are things that are
Yeah.
preventable if we actually take a proper measure in preventing them. So I will see you in a moment. Another session is coming up. If you are this kind of person that have actually gone through trauma, childhood trauma, maybe some things you have some things are weird about you, you don't know. Okay, let me let you go now. Boss Ade. I will see you on the other side of the corner. Thank you very much for
Thank
being
you
part
so
of this
much.
program. Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you
you're
for having
welcome.
me.
Yeah.
Mm.
So as I was saying, if you are this type that always want to um you always have some issues within you, and some of you have who tend to be is maybe it's demonic, or maybe some people in my village are doing me. This is a program for you. uh Adejos is going to be addressing the issue of trauma, how you can navigate through childhood trauma. We all of us somehow we have what we call childhood trauma. So I will see you by 5 p.m. See you then.